Together we'll see who dies and survives, circled around a sacred fire, strumming along with our favorite lyre. Adventure called the quest awaits, your destiny's in the hands of the fates. But never fear, we're all friends here, we'll have your back when danger's near. Come with us through the pages as we unravel a tale for the ages into the Percy-Verse.
Hello and welcome to the Percy-Verse podcast. I'm Alisa.
And I'm Anna. Get ready for the Poseidon Sons version of the 3 Spider-Man meme, because today we're reading chapter 16, I Go Down with the Ship. In this chapter, Polyphemus and Tyson interrogate Cyclops ethics, justice for olive trees, and Rainbow is absolutely the MVP of this book.
You know, Rainbow, okay, new theory, Rainbow is the R2-D2 of
I literally
Percy
thought that reading this chapter. Yes, I literally was like, Rainbow is R2-D2. Literally. Yeah, 100%.
Also, before we dive into our chapter, I want to say, as a follow-up from the last episode, and all of our many questions of the scale of it all.
Yes.
I was looking at the covers. I have 2 versions of the Sea of Monsters. I have the one that I take my notes out of, which is like the updated cover. And I'm going to do my best to explain for audio listeners only.
Yes.
But it's the cover where you see the ship and Polyphemus kind of like grabbing like 2 cliff sides.
Mm-hmm.
And for the, for the visual people, they'll be able to tell. This is the John Rocco illustrated cover.
Yeah.
From 2014. Polyphemus is way bigger than 15 feet. His head alone is maybe
so
15
much
feet.
big. The head, the head is like the size of the ship, and this is a huge ship that would normally take dozens of people to sail.
Right. So there's that. And then also I brought out my original cover.
Yes.
Where it's the giant eye looking at the rope bridge. The eye is the size of the rope bridge. Right?
Yes, it is.
That eye alone is like maybe 15 feet. Right?
I think it was a typo. Maybe it's 50. Maybe it's 50 feet, like we said.
So anyways, I think that just seeing these 2 covers, like the original one, the second version one, they definitely visually lend themselves to Polyphemus as far larger than 15 feet. And all the other descriptions in the book make him sound so much bigger than 15 feet. So anyways, still left
further evidence in the realm of confusion.
In the realm of how it's like, what is that? The joke of like, how big is he?
Right.
And then we're just all waiting.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we'll get some more clues, as they have one last battle here.
Yes.
But it is confusing, and the visual evidence is only adding to our confusion.
It is indeed.
But thank you for bringing in the exhibit A and B today for us as we try to determine the answer here.
Yes.
So Percy starts with a sentence that's like silly.
I know.
He's like, you'd think he'd run out of rocks. I'm like, he lives on an island full of rocks. What are you talking about?
He can also make a boulder real easy. He just probably has to like punch a cliff, and he's got himself a couple of boulders right there.
I don't think that's like the main issue here, but whatever, Percy. So Grover's like, swim for it. And he and Clarice, so just to recap where we're at, Annabeth has been healed in part by the fleece, but is still in the process of healing, particularly her broken ribs. Clarice has been carrying her like a sack of flour to the seashore. Percy has guided the ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, to get to them in the harbor. And so we have Percy, Grover, Clarice, and then Annabeth, who is still not doing super great. And so Annabeth is hanging onto Clarice's neck and trying to paddle with one hand, but the fleece, as we learned, is like 60 pounds. So and getting waterlogged, probably.
Right. I was about to say, because if it's a fleece, that is only going to get heavier in the water. It's not going to get any lighter.
So that is, they're struggling, right? Like, they're not nimbly swimming through the water. It's interesting, I think, because Polyphemus is such a threat, like, in terms of distracting Percy, he's not able to just sort of, like, summon a wave to kind of quickly get them all, you know, going over to the ship. But what's interesting in this moment is that what's most important to Polyphemus isn't the fleece.
Yeah.
It isn't even being tricked. It's Tyson.
I know.
This whole chapter is like Polyphemus and Tyson going back and forth about, like, what being a Cyclops means.
Yes.
Which I think is so interesting.
I know. It almost feels like that is what made Polyphemus, like, come back. Is because it's Tyson, the Cyclops,
final
who took him out.
Basketball blow. Yeah, exactly. It was Tyson. And that he was able to, like, clock that is really interesting, too. Because Tyson doesn't, like, come in and fight a bunch and then do that. It's, like, pretty much at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
So he's really, focused.
I wonder if maybe if we'd had, like, Polyphemus's POV of that moment, I wonder if he maybe saw Tyson for a second and thought another Cyclops. I just,
how much can he see? Maybe because Tyson is taller than the rest of them and was standing in the sheep, because he can't see very well with his eye. Is the only thing.
Good point.
So I mean, he heard, like, I think Tyson says something.
Bad Polyphemus, not all Cyclops. As nice as we look.
We do know that when Percy first hears Polyphemus in his dream about Grover, that the voice sounds really similar to Tyson's voice.
Yeah.
And so it is possible, I think, that line is so Cyclops, like, so clearly spoken from a Cyclops that Polyphemus understands whether, and maybe he sees a vague taller shape, you know, in his sheep or something, who aren't attacking him. But I wonder if maybe it's actually Tyson's voice.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That's a really great point. And it really feels like Polyphemus feels like betrayed. Like, deeply betrayed.
To even his core.
He had never met Tyson before this moment.
No.
It's like knife in the back for Polyphemus.
Yeah, he says, "You, young Cyclops." He's not talking to anyone else but Tyson. "Traitor to your kind." Oof. That's his opening line. And Tyson freezes, and Percy's like, "Don't listen to him. Like, let's go."
Yeah.
And he says he pulled on Tyson's arm, but he might as well have been pulling on a mountain. And Tyson turns and faces the older Cyclops and says, "I am not a traitor." And Polyphemus says, "You serve mortals, thieving humans." And it's interesting that Polyphemus is, like, positioning Tyson as, like, in servitude to, instead of, like, in friendship with, or alliance with Percy. And I think that just kind of, like, shows how ingrained it has been in Polyphemus's mind, the positionality of being a monster as being, like, under the foot of the gods and the mortals and the demigods and whatever. And so Polyphemus throws a boulder, and Tyson swats it away with his fist. He's like, boom.
Crazy.
Wild,
dude.
I know. Tyson is, like, incredible here.
Yeah.
And he says, "Not a traitor, and you are not my kind."
Yeah. They really, like you said at the beginning, they really are, like, debating what it means to be a Cyclops. And I think, like, this is really, like I was saying in the last episode, like, the first dominoes / other metaphor, like the first seeds. I think Tyson is, like, the first quote unquote monster to exist in a new space, in a new realm, and be, like, friends with demigods, have demigods, like, love and care for him, even though it took, you know, a very long journey to, like, reach that point. And so he is really confronting Polyphemus's view of the world, which is the established way that things have been for like a millennia and then some, you know, of just like monsters are under the thumb of gods and demigods, and they are only ever hunted and killed, but then they're also trying to hunt and kill demigods, and it's this like battle. We're trying to defeat each other. We cannot exist in any other way with one another. And Tyson is there being like, no, there's this other way. I have found it. I am that. But neither one, it's like neither one can like fully maybe understand or comprehend the other one, because Tyson is so in his like worldview that he is viewing Polyphemus as an other to him, as like not also, you know, like one of him.
Yeah,
I don't know,
he
it's
says,
interesting.
"You are
it's
not
very
my
interesting.
kind." Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. I think here we have like Tyson is not just aligning himself with demigods. He is saying, just because I'm a Cyclops, doesn't mean I'm a monster. And I think that is part of the unraveling you're speaking to, of like how Percy goes through. I was thinking ahead to like Mrs. O'Leary is another example of this. And then it's like interesting, not surprising, that Tyson and Mrs. O'Leary get along really well and are friends. And I think that just speaks to also like when you exist in like the dominant culture and you're not part of the dominant culture, like you usually end up becoming friends with other people who like exist outside of the dominant culture. You relate to each other. So it kind of makes sense that they're really close, you know, and then like Ella and stuff like that. So yes. So then Polyphemus, I mean, this is our little back and forth. And then Polyphemus doesn't have time for further debate and just says, death or victory. So I'm like, okay, we're just going right into it.
The other thing that like it made me think of, and I don't know if this is truly an apt comparison, but when like Polyphemus is like hurling the boulder and Tyson swats it away, it feels a little bit like it's like Godzilla versus King Kong or something like that.
Totally.
Just in terms of like, they are like just so much bigger and stronger and are fighting like they are throwing boulders. Percy cannot throw a boulder.
No,
like,
no, or not, much less knock away a boulder.
Yeah. And so it kind of feels like almost like that, like kind of.
No, I think you're totally right. Yes. Interesting question I'm going to bring up, but we do get told that Polyphemus's foot is still wounded, and so he stumbles as he's going through the surf and falls on his face. But he gets up again, spitting salt water and growling. And Clarice is like, Percy, let's go. Like, Percy's like, Tyson, let's go. Clarice is like, Percy, let's go. Like, it's just a trail of people being like, let's go. And Clarice and Annabeth are almost to the ship with the fleece at this point. So Clarice has not been wasting time. Like, while this whole thing is happening, we could be cutting to like Clarice is just mad swimming toward the ship. Like, go,
rage swimming.
Which I just feel like Clarice, this whole book, other than maybe some of her questionable choices around like Scylla and like that section, I think that she has just been like, this is the right thing to do and we go. Like she does not stop for anyone or anything. Like she just does the thing. Like point and go. So they're almost to the ship and Tyson says, go. I will hold Big Ugly, which I only say because it's capitalized, like big and ugly, which I think is like every time that happens in a book, it's kind of funny. But I think it is sad because he starts in the last chapter we talked about like not all Cyclopses are as nice as we look.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a sad turn because now there's this animosity between Polyphemus and Tyson, where he's starting to take on the idea of like monsters are ugly and then like use that, and he's not even like shouting it, like taunting, he's just like saying that to Percy. I do think this is like a sad turn.
I agree. It made me really sad to read that that's how Tyson referred to Polyphemus, and like it felt almost like this a moment of like he internalized all the stuff that people said about him and then like found kind of like the next Cyclops to like direct it to, even though like you said he's not drowning it to Dawn. He's literally just being like, I will stop, big ugly. Okay. You know, like
I know.
It's so casual. I think it's so casual is what almost is what makes it even more sad to me, because it's not him intentionally trying to be mean. It is just it's meant as a name.
It's perpetuating some of the like straight up bullying and callousness that has been directed toward him. Mm-hmm. I think this is a sad moment, and it's not even like Tyson has walked back in growth, because I don't think this has necessarily been part of Tyson's arc. I think a lot of the time, even though he understood people were being mean to him, like he still had like his self-worth was still there. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time he was just kind of like confused and sad that other people didn't accept him. But this is an internalizing of that is a really sad moment. Mm-hmm. And Percy's like, no, he'll kill you. And he's basically like, I already thought Tyson was dead. I'm not leaving him to fight this Cyclops who seems to like never die, like seems to be unbeatable. We'll fight him together. But also like that moment is really sweet, and that's a growth moment for Percy, because in the past he would have been like, Tyson, you go, I'll hold Polyphemus. Mm-hmm. And so this is in fact, I think, a big like this, and what we were talking about last time with like Percy being convinced pretty easily by Clarice and Grover to fight together. Mm-hmm. This is growth for Percy for sure. Like further demonstration of that growth.
Yeah, we're seeing a real theme of like Percy started this book very much like, just me, I must be the one to fight. And the theme is like, there's no I in team. Teamwork makes the dream work, you know?
Yes, that is this book. Yes, this is the There's No I in Team book, which is good. We haven't talked about this in a while, but we were discussing like how Percy ends up needing to not be the hero. And I do think the like There's No I in Team foundation he gets in this book is a good foundation for eventually being willing to see a different option of who could be the hero for a prophecy that seems to be about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and I do think also, this connects there.
How much, as we get further into this series, like it moves from just like 3-person quests, even this one not being just a 3-person quest, but to like Battle of the Labyrinth, we're gonna need a bigger scale thing. The Last Olympian, we're doing full out war. We have to like, you know, trust every camper who's still left and fight in a group. Which then I think leads to a nice culmination of like with Heroes of Olympus, we eventually reach the point where the quest is a bigger than 3-person quest. It's like really kind of ingraining and establishing the roots and the importance of like we're all in this together, because it's High School Musical.
It's still a High School Musical up in here. We haven't let that go. And literally Tyson says together, like they emphasize together. So this is that moment. It's like they do like a whole dance routine, like duet in the sea, and then Polyphemus is just like interrupted by a boulder landing right in between them, and like they're thrown apart. So Percy draws Riptide. Polyphemus is advancing, but he's having to like do it carefully because he's limping and stuff. And this is where I get to my Poseidon powers question.
Yes.
Which is, which sons of Poseidon heal with water? Because so far, maybe just Percy.
It seems like that's just a demigod thing. And I wonder, my thought was like, so the Cyclops, they have abilities that Percy doesn't have, like the voice changing stuff, the like really good listening, the sense of smell, all of that. Like they have abilities that Percy doesn't. And it seems like the same is true, like in reverse. And so, it seems like the water healing is maybe like only like a demigod like power set.
I could take that. I think that makes sense. So Polyphemus is not being healed by water as he's advancing. So he's limping worse than ever. But his arms are fine. And so, you know, boulders are just about to come that way. Percy is diving to the side. but says that he still would have been squashed if Tyson's fist hadn't blasted the rock to rubble. So Tyson is still just like you said, this is Godzilla versus King Kong for sure. Like, these are creatures that are stronger than Percy right now for sure.
Yeah.
Then Percy remembers that he has water powers.
Right. Yes.
Finally. I'm like, we've been in the water for a long time and we have not used our water powers.
Right.
So he wills the sea to rise, and a 20-foot wave comes up, lifts him on its crest, and he goes toward Polyphemus and kicks him in the eye, leaping over his head as the water blasts him onto the beach.
Quick note.
Yes.
A 20-foot wave with him riding on its crest.
Thank you.
Would I believe
yes.
place him 5 feet above.
Yes, thank you.
Polyphemus.
This is what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, Rick Riordan. I'm sorry.
It's just hard. The math is just not mathing.
We just love these books and we just want to understand.
We just want to understand how tall Polyphemus is. That's all we want. But that kind of negates the 50-foot idea, too, because a 20-foot wave wouldn't get him up to the eye.
No.
It would mean he's more like 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
Which makes everything else a little better. Like the spear being a splinter from last time.
Maybe he's like 25 feet tall. Maybe they didn't mean 15. Maybe they meant 25. Maybe was like
25.
A 1 instead of a 2.
I think it's written out as a word, but we'll ignore that. Okay, maybe this wave can be our canon height-ish moment. Okay, so yes, we have written this 20-foot wave, but like, okay, the second thing here that doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Maybe Percy has decided that Polyphemus, like, he still has the compassion for not killing a Cyclops.
Yeah.
But if you're going to take the trouble to create a 20-foot wave,
right,
and you're going to make it to his eye,
right,
why? And you have your sword in your hand,
right?
Why are we kicking his eye?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know.
What is that gonna do?
I felt like this to me felt like a really big missed opportunity to not just like knock him on his butt. At the very least, like with wave and powers combined.
Yeah.
To get his feet out from under him, and
the water does blast him to the beach, but we don't get the sense that like he has fallen.
Right.
It's just it's a confusing move. It's a confusing act of war on Percy's part, like battle move.
Right.
Because
Grace is at the ship yelling, just being like,
what is Polyphemus's eye made of that Percy can kick it,
right,
but his foot doesn't go into it?
Yeah, right.
It bounces up, like it's made of rubber or something.
Right.
I just don't understand why you don't stab the eye. Again, unless Percy, I don't know, we'll keep going, but it's just, I have confusion.
Yeah.
This whole little paragraph is confusion.
I do think maybe he still has the element of he doesn't want to kill Polyphemus, which we do
That's
see
what I'm
again.
wondering. Yeah.
That is still in him.
That might be what it is.
But he could do a little pokey poke to the eye that doesn't disintegrate Polyphemus and just
to some other part of him. Like what the issue he says is that his foot's hurting, but his arm is fine. So could we just hurt his arm so he can't throw the rocks anymore?
Yeah.
There could be a way to hurt him that doesn't disintegrate him but still helps them in their cause. But no, we kick the eye. Okay, we leap over his head. I mean, it's a really cool maneuver. It's just not a very effective maneuver.
Right. And if he is only 15 feet tall, then a 20-foot wave would overwhelm him.
Percy's just like, oh no, I overshot him.
It's like, oh crap,
dang it, so close. I thought he was taller than he was too. He seems so tall.
Maybe Percy's like me, and he's really bad at judging.
This is Percy's POV. Are we gonna okay? So maybe we're saying Percy's an unreliable narrator and not that there's any mistakes by the author in scale.
That's the thing. Percy's
Okay.
I'm
right.
terrible at judging distances.
I will accept that if we find another instance in the series of Percy misjudging height or distance or something like that. We'll be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Maybe Percy's an unreliable narrator only in this particular... Maybe that also... we could look back and see if that explains Annabeth's height too, because maybe it's Percy. No, I think Krusty says 3 inches. Yeah, it's Krusty, and he knows his measurements.
Yeah.
Never forget.
It does.
Annabeth is 5'9".
Annabeth truther.
I mean, it is. It's just the truth. The girl is tall. Taller than she should be for her age. Okay. Oh, she's Tall Girl. I never saw that on... Did we do this yet? I don't remember. I never saw that on Netflix.
No, you never watched Tall Girl on Netflix.
But Annabeth is Tall Girl, if that works. I don't know if that works for the... Anyway, we have so digressed. We're going to refocus.
Yeah.
Because Polyphemus is like, destroy you, fleece stealer.
Yeah, he's back on the golden fleece of it all
now. Yes, now we're focused back on that. And Percy's like, you stole the fleece. And he's like, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and goes right back to you.
No, you. They're just like pointing fingers at each other.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's the Spider-Man meme. Because it's 3 Sons of Poseidon.
No, you did it first.
No, you. You've been using it to lure satyrs to their deaths. And Polyphemus is just like, so? Satyrs good eating.
Wait, the golden fleece, this is a dark joke. The golden fleece was his satyr DoorDash. Yeah. He just gets food delivered right to the door of his island. Right
to the door of his island.
Via the golden fleece.
And he's like, yeah, so what? Basically. So it's like, no, you. So what? It's like the most basic
we are
of arguments.
In middle school.
Which we are. They're still middle school age. And then Percy, like, for some reason, I guess maybe he's still trying to, like, humanize Polyphemus, but he, like, tries to explain the, like, the meaning, the ethical meaning of the fleece.
On the golden fleece, which I think is really interesting because, like, this is the first time I feel like we're seeing Percy have, like, a moral stance on
something.
Items of the mythological world, you know?
Yes.
Like, with the last one, he was just, like, retrieving the lightning bolt to clear his name, but he didn't have, like, an opinion on the lightning bolt's existence.
Like, who should have it, or should it exist?
How it should be wielded. Like, it was, like, just return to owner.
But and since we have discussed before, like, Annabeth is very in the, like, the systems of the gods are right. Luke is very against that. This is an interesting place where he's kind of aligning himself with, like, the system of the gods are correct.
Yes.
Yeah, he says, the fleece should be used to heal. It belongs to the children of the gods. Like, he specifically says that. I know.
Which, by the way, 2 different statements. The fleece should be used to heal, and who it belongs to, 2 completely different statements. He kind of makes them one, but those are 2
totally
beliefs
different
in their own right, separate.
Because it's not like they set up, like, a free clinic at Camp Half-Blood, that they take it out into the community, and, like, they... You know, they have people come and be healed by the fleece. Like, once it heals Talia, it stays there and gets guarded.
Right. Yeah. Locked down by a dragon.
The second, it belongs to the children of the gods, that he makes good on. The it should be used to heal doesn't really happen more than twice. And that's like... So, anyway, it's interesting because there is a bit of, like, a Herculean hypocrisy, like a original hero myth perspective that he's kind of falling into right now, or like trope.
And like it's a moment where he's really like, I want it for a purpose. I am good, therefore my desire to want it is good, and the purpose I'm going to use it for is good.
And he's bad.
Exactly.
For keeping it from me.
And because you are also bad and evil, any purpose that you would have it for is a bad and evil purpose, not a good purpose.
Even though we saw that it was like making the nature on the island very beautiful.
Right. Right. So yeah, it's a very interesting, like Percy becomes very like black and white thinking
Yeah.
in this moment, and it's a real like line in the sand. He had this complexity, and like he still is able to hold the
Yeah.
complexity, but like that like hard line in the sand does come back, I feel,
It's
in this moment.
interesting because he doesn't actually need to morally justify himself.
No.
But just Polyphemus saying fleece stealer makes him so defensive in that
Yeah.
moment that he like feels the need to morally
Right,
justify himself.
right.
It's really an
It's
interesting moment.
it is making me think back to, like we talked about in the last episode, when Percy previously in the previous chapter was asking about like, wait, what's going to happen when we take it? It
Yeah,
almost maybe feels like now that they've taken it, and I think maybe like, he saw the trees start to change
totally.
color. He's being called a fleece stealer. I wonder maybe how much of this is him like needing to justify for himself, like,
Absolutely.
although I'm stealing something, I am still good.
Well, I think it is, especially because he has sort of humanized Polyphemus and like
Yeah.
decided not to do the killing blow, like the death blow. So I think I think it is hard for him to sit in the nuance of like
Yeah.
you are like Tyson and I chose to not kill you, but then you betrayed that trust that I gave you and then you're after us, but you're still like Tyson and
Yeah.
but I need this thing. So
Right.
it's like really hard. And then there's another layer that gets added because he says it belongs to children of the gods and Polyphemus says I am a child of the gods.
Right.
Plot
Dude,
twist.
I loved this so much because we've talked so much in this book about like who gets to be a hero, like that,
Yes.
and the the quest, the prophecy, like distinction of like half blood versus
Yep.
demigod, and like
Yep.
who falls into what category. And I really love that Polyphemus says, "I am a child of the gods," because he is.
Yeah.
Like every Cyclops is a child of the gods. And so
Yeah.
as part of this, like I think I'm really realizing in this reread how much Sea of Monsters plants the seeds and sets up so much that like slowly over time is going to culminate, like,
Totally.
I mean, in the real time of these books, years and years down the line. Like, I'm so curious. Again, would love to interview Rick Riordan and to know, like,
Yeah.
when he was, like, writing this book, did he have any sense of, like, I want to kind of start to challenge, right? Like,
Right.
what is a monster? Who falls under that category? Why do we have that label in that category? Because that does get challenged and then intensely, like, analyzed and
becomes
sat with.
kind of like the main driver of a lot of plots. Yeah, for sure. Same. I like the idea that this is a theme he knows he wants to explore in future books.
Yeah.
And I think if you're gonna take known stories and put a twist on them, that in addition to like placing it in more of a modern context, that you're also kind of questioning some of the underlying assumptions of those stories,
Yeah.
I think is really cool. It's interesting, like which monsters get some of that. Like we talked about Medusa in the first book a lot, and like not every monster character gets to live in this gray area or like have some of that question. But I do think it feels very intentional here that this is a theme that we have plunged into. And Polyphemus goes further than saying, I am a child of the gods. He specifically says, Father Poseidon, curse this thief.
Yeah.
And it looks like he can barely see. He's blinking very hard. And Percy realizes, importantly in this moment, that Polyphemus is targeting him by the sound of his voice. So he's going to use this strategically. Percy says, Poseidon won't curse me. I'm his son too, and he won't play favorites, which is like an interesting thing. Like, I don't think Percy actually knows this.
Yeah.
I think he like assumes this, but also he's been told that like the gods can't fight their kids' fights for them, so that rule probably like preempts any other stuff too, I would think.
Also, like, I don't, he says like he won't play favorites, but I'm like, Well, he leaves the Cyclops children of him abandoned, and the demigod children have a whole camp to go to. So, like, there are ways in which he is kind of
He's
fundamentally
playing
favorites.
Yeah, really good point. That
just
is
like
so
in
true.
terms of who even gets to, like, you know, have.
Of course, it's the son who gets the favoritism that's saying that he doesn't play favorites, right? Classic.
Like, Percy, he very much does. He very much does. And
but also, like, they're not supposed to interfere in direct conflict. So, like, that's actually what it is. Like, it's not because you're both sons of Poseidon. But Polyphemus gets angry. And this is where I'm sad for the olive trees. But he rips an olive tree out of the side of the cliff, smashes it where Percy has been a moment before, and Polyphemus is still, like, just a lot of interesting moral sort of interrogating happening here. He's like, humans not the same, nasty, tricky, lying. And his experience with humans has been that they trick him. Yeah. They lie, you know, in order to steal things or get out, you know, from his just need for food. He's like, I just am trying to meet my basic needs on Maslow's pyramid. And you're just, like, tricking me. And so now I'm hungry.
It's like they're both, from both of their own points of views, they are right and the other is wrong. And they are good and the other is bad. And they are, like, the other is the other. Like, they have othered the other person, and it really is, that's just what, like, that's the thing that not only Polyphemus and Percy are locked in, but also, like, Tyson and Polyphemus, like, for sure, other each other in, like, the beginning of this chapter. And it very much is, it makes me think of, like, you know, what we humans do all the time when we have arguments and disagreements with other people, you know, where it's like, you've hurt me, and it's like, I'm unwilling to recognize that I have also hurt you, like, because I'm hurt, and so we're just gonna be stuck in this thing. We're both going, no, you bad, no, you bad.
I do appreciate that we get through Polyphemus's dialogue some, like, genuine explanation of his perspective. Like, humans are lying and stealing and, like, these things that are true, objectively from the viewer's perspective, the reader's perspective. I think it's, you don't always get villain characters, I'm putting air quotes on that, who are, like, you understand their perspectives, or that that there is some issue with how maybe the hero is going about things. But what I just thought as you were saying that is that truly nobody is good and nobody is bad. Do with that what you will.
That's a...
But then it's like, but, you know, depending on how you're reading that in this book, it's kind of funny. So, we have Grover helping Annabeth aboard the ship. So it's kind of like this, every few paragraphs are cutting to Clarice.
Right.
And Grover and Annabeth and what's going on there. Yeah. And Clarice is like, come on, man. Like, she's just like, get to the ship.
Over here. Now.
And Tyson is working his way around Polyphemus, trying to get behind him. And Polyphemus calls out, young one, where are you? Help me. So, like, even though he's basically being like, Tyson, you betrayed, you know, all the Cyclopes, he then, and it reminds me a little bit of when he's crying to Percy, like, he's trying to kind of get Tyson on his side. Yeah. And he's like, you weren't raised right. Poor orphaned brother, help me. And I don't know, this whole part is just really heart-wrenching. Like, it's hard because Polyphemus does this thing of, like, being able to quickly sort of do a very, very big emotional 180. But then he, like, kind of gets at something really deep when he does it. Like, it's very clever the way that he does it. And it does speak to, like, Tyson's emotional wounds in a real way. Yeah. You know?
Well, and what it made me think of was, I immediately picked up on, because he says, poor orphaned brother. So I'm like, okay, yes, like, if you're Cyclops, like with Polyphemus, like, he's got this amazing island, but he's not like, I need to go and get all the orphaned, like, Cyclopses of the world and bring them to my island and we can all live on Cyclops Island. Like, he's still very much like, no, me, myself on my island. Yes. But has knowledge that that is the reality for like so many of the other Cyclopses coming into the world, and it just then made me think to like when we learn about the Forge and like Tyson goes to join it and he gets to be with like more people of his kind. It's just like, man, but he was like, he's not only abandoned by Poseidon, but he's kind of also abandoned by all the other like Cyclops who know that there would be other like of their kind orphaned and in that position. And it's, I don't know, it's the sad thing where it's almost like, man, nobody's helping them. Like, nobody's there. And it's just so sad and heartbreaking.
It's often like how oppression works, is that like you end up being pitted against each other for sure. But also we've talked about like intergenerational you know, trauma, and I think there can be a way of passing that on, even if it's not like a familial relationship, but like a I suffered so you have to suffer. Like that happens even in like workplace culture, or you know, that happens in so many different settings. And I feel like that's like
loans. No one will forgive them because if I had to pay them off, so
and it's
don't
like
get to
you had to pay
them.
maybe 10% of what the rest of us had to pay off, but whatever. So yeah, I think this is like an example of there's like he can lock into the empathy of it, or the perceived empathy of it, because he's experienced this, but he's also kind of using it against Tyson, and he's not offering companionship or friendship or mentorship or anything like you're saying. Yeah. Even though he is the elder Cyclops. So nobody has moved, and the thing is, Percy has realized that Polyphemus is targeting based off of the sound, the voice, but he hasn't had a chance to tell Tyson that that's what's happening yet. And he just hears, and you can like feel this moment, the sound of the ocean and his own heartbeat. And like, you know, those moments where you pause, like boom, 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 boom. And Tyson steps forward, raising his hands defensively, which is kind of like, he can't even see that you're doing that, really, you know? And like, he says, "Don't fight, Cyclops, brother. Put down the..." And he's like trying to reach out, you know, toward Polyphemus. And Percy yells to Tyson as Polyphemus spins toward him and strikes him with the tree with such force it would have flattened Percy into a Percy pizza with extra olives. I was like, you never know when you're gonna get a Percyism. No. You always have to be prepared for one, because it can be in the most intense moment or the most not intense moment, but you never know when you're gonna get a Percyism. But Tyson flies backward, and Polyphemus is going after him, and Percy says no and lunges as far as he can with Riptide. He was hoping to sting Polyphemus in the back of the thigh, but he manages to leap a little bit higher, or to reach a little bit higher. And Polyphemus bleats like his sheep, which is really interesting. Like he does a bah. I don't know why he would do that. Swings at Percy with the tree, and he dives, but this time he gets raked across the back. Ouch. Which sounds terrible. He's bleeding and bruised and exhausted, and he says that the guinea pig inside him wants to bolt, which I really like that we get. We keep getting reminded that Percy now has like guinea pig part that has little scampering scared feelings. Polyphemus swings the tree again, and Percy has like thought it through this time, and so he grabs a branch, and this is another moment that just felt so video game, like in Breath of the Wild when you reach what I guess they're trolls or ogres or something, you can like get on their hand, and then their hand like comes up every so often, so then you can ride the hand up, you know, to their chest. It just felt like that video game moment. So he grabs the branch and he rides it all the way up, and at the top of the arc he lets go, and which is like really impressive timing. I have to say. He falls against the giant's face, lands with both feet on his eye, which again, I'm just like, this, I don't like eye stuff, so all the eye violence is like hurting me. And again, it's like, what is it with Percy putting his feet on this guy's eye? Like, it's just weird.
And what is it made out of that he's not punctured through
Yes, that's
it?
what I was saying. Like, there's such a plot twist Polyphemus wears,
a
a contact lens. Very strange. So Polyphemus yowls in pain because, again,
Right.
also, how big does Polyphemus's eye need to be that Percy's both feet can fit on it? That gives us a sense of scale. Like, the shoe size of a 13-year-old.
But we don't know
two
how
of those.
much. We don't know how much, how much of his eye. We just know the feet can fit on it, which I think makes sense. But then, how much area of the eye is left.
So that so there's, big enough that we could put 2 feet on it. And so Polyphemus, it still hurts him though. Mm-hmm. Tyson tackles him, pulling him down. Percy lands next to him within striking distance of the monster's heart this time. But he and Tyson lock eyes. Percy knows he can't do it. It wasn't right. Like, he still has that moral sense of, like, this is a creature like Tyson. I couldn't kill this creature. And he tells Tyson to let him go and to run.
Yeah. And so they do. Tyson pushes Polyphemus away. They take off for the surf. Polyphemus is in a lot of pain. He's got a hand cupped over his eye. He's like searching for them now, and he's kind of throwing stuff at just trying to get them, but not knowing where they are.
Like anything. Yep. I will smash you.
Yes. And Percy remembers his water powers again and summons a current to carry them, and they're gaining speed.
Why didn't we do this right off the bat? Just water wave everyone to the ship and steer the ship away really quickly.
You know what this makes me think of? So many people will be like, when Jedi are fighting, being like, why aren't they using the force pushes and stuff more? Or why aren't they using the force more actively in battles? And I always remember in Rebels where we learned how much strength it requires to wield a lightsaber. Yes. It requires force ability to do that within you. And so there's that. And also I think just you only have so much strength that it's you kind of have to pick one lane at a time.
Totally.
You can do the hand-to-hand combat or you can do the water magic, but you kind of have to
pick one. Yeah.
Until of course we get to the Last Olympian and Percy becomes a hurricane and is fighting people. He's doing it all at the same time.
Yes. Because the last book you're allowed to.
Right. The River Styx, the last book. It's all of that.
Yep.
But yeah, Percy is once more counting his chickens before they hatch, thinking we've made it, we're free. When then Clarice again, this is the second time with Polyphemus where she talks and she shouldn't.
I know.
And look, I will give her this one that she does not know that Polyphemus is at this point only tracking via hearing. And
I know Percy didn't get a chance to tell Tyson and Clarice this,
right?
But I just wish it's just frustrating because I think it's frustrating when you have a character who is quite intelligent and savvy about war and makes such a big mistake, knows that the enemy can launch boulders sized rocks and make such a big mistake. It's just frustrating, but I think it's important. What she says is very, very interesting.
Yes.
She says, yeah, Jackson, in your face, Cyclops.
Right.
She's cheering Percy.
I know. Yes. She's go team, go us.
Yes.
In your face, Cyclops. I think to me, this really feels like the reminder of she's 13, years old.
Yeah.
She is just barely a teenager and is going to have that still in her.
But I think the fact that she cheers Percy at all is just huge.
Oh yes.
This is a seismic shift in their relationship.
Absolutely. She just then has to also throw in the, to
even if she hadn't though, I think the point is that she says anything and Polyphemus is gonna throw.
No, absolutely. And Percy wants to yell at her to shut up, which I'm just she already talked. At this point, kind of why not? I get why he doesn't, but also I'm you could maybe help a little bit because you're not at the ship yet.
Because she does keep taunting. So
right,
yeah,
because
he could have.
He after she does that, he throws a boulder and it falls short. And I'm just like, Percy, my man, actually you yelling, "Shut up, he's tracking by hearing," could have prevented
would have been very helpful.
Because then she talks again, but also for longer. She goes, yeah, you throw like a wimp. Teach you to try marrying me, you idiot. Like, she talks for a long time. And then that's when Percy yells, "Clarice, shut up." But I'm like, it's too late.
He should have just done it the first time. Yeah, absolutely.
Because this time, Polyphemus throws another boulder, and all Percy can do is watch helplessly as it sails over his head and crashes through the hull of the Queen Anne's Revenge.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe how fast a ship can sink.
I love that we get like actual ship water physics in this chapter. It's really interesting.
It is. And so the Queen Anne's Revenge creaks and groans and lists forward like it's going down a playground slide. And Percy's cursing and he's trying to get the sea to push them faster, but the ship's masts are already going under. Like, this thing is going down fast. And so he tells Tyson to dive because Polyphemus is still throwing rocks.
Yes.
And Tyson and Percy plunge underwater, and Clarice, Grover, and Annabeth are sinking fast because when a ship goes down, it basically acts like a sinkhole and it pulls everything down around it.
So scary.
So it's like kind of a little impossible to escape because even Clarice is a really strong swimmer. Clarice is a really strong swimmer, but she's not making any progress. Grover is struggling. Annabeth is just hanging onto the fleece for like dear life.
Well, and it says that Grover is kicking with his hooves, and I have to think he's like, other than Annabeth, he is at the most disadvantage for swimming because hooves have less width than feet for kicking, and he's got fur that's probably waterlogged and weighing him down. So Grover has to be like at a huge disadvantage for swimming compared to humans.
Yeah. And so Percy's like swimming towards them because that's what he needs to do, but he's also aware that like he might not have the strength to pull his friends out. Yeah. And there are pieces of timber that are swirling around them, and
so dangerous.
He's like, none of my water powers are going to help if I get whacked in the head by one of these beams that's like getting swirled around in here. And then we get something incredibly exciting. Percy thinks to himself, we need help. And he hears Tyson's voice say, yes, loud and clear in his head. And this is where we discover, like, in the Venn diagram of Children of Poseidon powers, if you're a Cyclops or if you're a demigod, you can telepathically communicate.
Underwater! That's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
And they both have Percy's like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah. I didn't know we could talk to each other. And I can't help but think that, like, it is in Percy's acceptance of Tyson that they are then able to discover this.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah. It feels like that to me. Like, I think if they'd done swimming before, I don't think
he wouldn't have been open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that idea.
And Tyson comes up with the solution of, we need help, and Tyson goes,
R2-D2.
Rainbow. Yep, R2-D2 to the rescue. And so they both concentrate and yell mentally together, Rainbow, we need you.
So cute. I feel like it's like, Pikachu, I choose you.
And immediately shapes start to shimmer in the darkness below them, and 3 horses, so not just Rainbow alone, it's Rainbow and the gang, Rainbow and friends,
probably from the beginning,
are coming up. They're going faster than dolphins. Rainbow and friends whisk into the wreckage. A moment later, they burst upwards with everyone: Grover, Annabeth, Clarice. So Rainbow has Clarice and Tyson. Yeah. Grover is on one, and then another one is Annabeth and Percy. And Percy's kind of helping Annabeth, like, hold on.
Yeah, the fleece.
And they break the surface of the water and immediately begin racing away. And they hear Polyphemus on the shore roaring in triumph, saying, I did it. I finally sank nobody. And interestingly, Percy thinks to himself, I hoped he never found out he was wrong.
I know. I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah. It made me wonder, like, why he hopes that. Like, if in the, like, if there's a part of him that's like, oh, okay, he's happy. Like,
there's a way to read it of, like, kindness toward Polyphemus, or that compassion Percy has. There's also a way to read it as, hopefully he never realizes, so he never comes after us, and like tries to still get us for it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. And Annabeth is just beyond exhausted by this point. All she gets out is, did it, and then she immediately falls asleep. Completely passes out. And Percy doesn't know how far the hippocampi can take them. He doesn't even know where they're going. He just basically, like, props Annabeth up so he knows that she won't fall off, make sure the golden fleece is covering her. He says a silent prayer of thanks, which reminds him of the debt that he still owes the gods. And so he tells Annabeth very quietly, you're a genius, which I'm just like, cute, but tell her when she's awake.
Yeah, I wrote, does that count? I don't know if that counts. Also, like, where it says, I told Annabeth quietly, it made me think of, like, Dumbledore said calmly or something, and I just want, like, we haven't, like, watched the TV show yet because we want to do it after we read this book and not, like, be confused between them. But it would be really funny if he's like, you're a genius, but, like, to her out loud.
Yeah. Which, and that was, I'm glad you brought up the show, because one of the, for all of our questions on, like, what is the scale, I know there will be an answer in the show.
I'm curious to see which answer, because Rick Riordan was part of the show. Like, has helped create it. So
so I am curious to see what scale the show went with.
Me
for how
too.
big Polyphemus is.
Maybe we'll have to do a little recap.
Yes. But yeah, we end this chapter with Percy putting his head against the fleece, and before he knows it, he is asleep too. So we end this chapter with basically just, like, pure exhaustion on everyone's part, which I think makes so much sense, because, like, Percy just kind of channeled that, like, extra demigod rage ability, and then was also using lots of his water powers and stuff. And so him being completely wiped, I think, makes a lot of sense. Annabeth, girl, I don't know how she's alive. Like,
seriously, exactly. Yes.
And, you know, everyone else, like, you know, Clarice, Grover, like,
they've been through a lot. Grover's been kidnapped forever.
Tyson, like, the whole gang has been through it immensely terribly, and so everyone being exhausted.
They're not home yet. They're not home yet. There are still things. Things. This chapter made me realize something about the whole book.
Yeah.
Which is that for not supposed to be interfering with things.
Yeah.
The gods are quite responsible for what happens in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly at the beginning, the hippocampi being sent for Percy and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that was by Poseidon.
Again, with no sacrifice.
With no
that's
sacrifice.
My little harping thing on of, like, when he just asked for help, but when he must sacrifice something or not to receive said help. Like,
so I wrote, Poseidon and Tyson saved everything.
Yeah.
Like, if you go through this book, like, without Poseidon and Tyson, and it's debatable too if, like, Poseidon sent Tyson in a way to also befriend Percy in the first. So, like, there's a world where, like, all of Sea of Monsters victories are because directly of actions that Poseidon takes.
Yeah. With, like, a little bit of Hermes and the gifts sprinkled in there. Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know, the
for
gods
as little
are
as they're supposed to interfere.
I know, for how much the gods, like, love their rules, they are constantly breaking them. I mean,
which is
the
a theme. Yeah, for sure.
Percy's existence is the breaking of a rule. Not even a rule, like a sworn oath. So the gods love to have rules and then not abide by them. I feel like Hera's, like, the only one.
Yeah, right.
Like,
she always is the only one.
Is a stickler, you know.
Yep, she is.
is like, but I agreed.
And all the gods are like annoyed at her for it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I'm excited to get to her as a character and like.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Dive into
but it really, really struck me because from the hippocampi at the beginning to everything that Tyson has done. I mean, he goes down into the boiler room. Like, he comes in clutch, like, constantly throughout the book before he's out of the book. And then they do not defeat Polyphemus without Tyson. They do not get the fleece without Tyson.
Yep.
They do not escape at the end here without Tyson and without Rainbow. And Rainbow only is coming because of Tyson.
Yes.
Like, Poseidon and Tyson save everything.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because we started this book being like, Clarice is the main character.
Right.
And maybe it's like, plot twist, Tyson is actually the main character of this book.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
Clarice is the main character, but Tyson is the hero. You know?
Yes.
Like, like that there's
which leaves
that
Percy.
Percy's like, but me, wait.
But me.
But it's called Percy Jackson.
It's called, my name. My name's in the title, though. I'm here, too. Yeah. So I just, I really, really struck me. I think for the first time, just like how much this is key to their survival throughout the book. So any final thoughts from you for this quite short chapter?
I don't think so. I think I'm just really excited now to get into these last few chapters because we are very near the end of this book. And now that we have both the things we wanted. We've got the Golden Fleece, we've got Grover, and we've got Tyson back, which, was not a part of the quest, but like was important a want.
To Percy.
And so, I'm just excited to get into like all of the repercussions.
Yes. Well, and this book ends with one of the best plot twists ever of a book. So I'm like very excited to get there. So we will not quite be at the end, but we will be close next time when we read Sea of Monsters chapter 17. We get a surprise on Miami Beach. Bye.
Bye.